And let's welcome our next speaker. We have Jia, Cherry, Chunwei, and Jiaxian. They are our lovely education officers from Outreach and Education Unit. They are going to share about the 5 museums milestones. All right, over to you, ladies.
Okay, hello everyone. Hello. Thank you for joining us today for the Lee Kong Chian Natural History Museum Celebrate 5. My name is Jia, and my colleagues Cherry, Chunwei, and Jiaxian and I from the Outreach and Education team will be bringing you through a walkthrough of the museum milestones over the past 5 years. So if any of you are asleep, maybe you might be awake now when I say that there's going to be prizes at the end of this. Okay. So since we are at the topic of celebrations, what could be better than highlighting the togetherness and unity in the museum? So we have various units at the Lee Kong Chian Natural History Museum. We have research, collections, administration, gallery team, education, facilities, operations, and so on and so forth. So all of us come together and work in unity and with pride to bring Southeast Asian biodiversity, research, and education locally and internationally. So for the next half an hour or so, we will be looking at some of the milestones over the years. We have had a lot of achievements that we are proud of, and it's difficult to pick out just a few, but to aptly commemorate our 5 years, we have 5 milestones to highlight to you today. So at the end, we'll have a quiz, and 5 winners who will give us the fastest and correct answers will win our goodie bags, okay? All right, so let's move on to the next slide. So here at the museum, the 4 of us work as education officers in the Outreach and Education Unit. We conduct indoor programs in our public galleries, such as gallery tours and workshops, and also outdoor programs like nature walks, talks, and camps. Our role in the museum is to bring to people of all ages and walks of life about natural history and the Southeast Asian biodiversity in an interesting and engaging manner. So these are the 5 events that we're going to be looking at today. So year 2015 was the start of the journey at our new building. We opened on April 2015. In the year 2016, we proudly launched our Sperm Wheel exhibit. In 2017, we had 2 major temporary gallery exhibitions, Out of Water and Christmas Island Red. 2018 was the year that our research team went on South Java Deep Sea Expedition, Sejalis for short. And just last year, we launched another temporary gallery exhibition, 200 A Natural History, and the Wallace and Ali statue was launched then as well. Okay. So the Lee Kong Chian Natural History Museum is a department at the National University of Singapore under the Faculty of Science. We currently hold the zoological collections that used to be at the Raffles Library and Museum, which is today known as the National Museum at Stamford Road. In the late 1960s and 70s with independence, the zoological collections, which was at the Raffles Museum or National Museum, was moved out to the then University of Singapore and decided that the university would become the custodian of the collection. The department was renamed the Lee Kong Chian Natural History Museum. The building is 5 years old, and as a department, we are 5 years old as well. Okay. So we have a lot more space now, especially for public galleries. 2 floors are dedicated to galleries that open to the public, both permanent ones as well as a smaller temporary gallery where we have exhibitions that change once or twice a year. So the first milestone that we're going to look at, in 2010, Professor Ng and his mentor, Prof. Liu Tan, launched a bid to turn the Raffles Museum, which has one of the largest collections of Southeast Asian animals in the region, into the first standalone natural history museum here. The opening of the museum happened on 18th of April 2015, and it was a very grand affair. We had then President Tony Tan grace us, and that is Professor Peter Ng giving tour to distinguished guests. It was a very proud and joyous occasion, and exciting too, because it coincided with the university's 110th anniversary and Singapore's 50th birthday. So as you can see from the article on the right, Singapore's first standalone natural history museum has achieved. So crab expert Professor Peter Ng is one of the key figures behind the setting up of the new Lee Kong Chian Natural History Museum. So Prof. Ng, for 16 years, is director of the Natural History Museum's predecessor, the Raffles Museum of Biodiversity and Research, a name that a lot of you would be familiar with. There was plenty of work to be done before the move. We had to undergo almost 2 weeks of preparation. On the right are some of my colleagues involved in the laborious process. Specimens had to be placed in waterproof box to protect it from condensation, frozen to kill mites or insects, and progressively thawed as well. Everything was packed and prepped for the massive move, which involved the museum curators, staff, and a team of professional art movers. For those of you who have visited us before, you would realize that not all of it is actually on display. More than 90% are kept as part of the research collection for academics, students, and scientists. Our collections can be broadly divided into two categories, dry and wet collections. So over here on the slide, you see the dry specimens. So the dry category is housed on the museum's 4th floor and consists of plants, birds, mammals, fish, and coral specimens, among others. The wet category is housed on levels 2 and 3 of the museum, which has purpose-built rooms for this. So moving on to our second milestone, the launch of the Sperm Wheel exhibit on the 15th of March 2016. After nearly a year from its discovery, it was a very proud moment for us to have the Sperm Wheel majestically displayed in our public gallery in its historic posture. It is one of my personal favorite exhibits in the museum, as the skeleton hides plenty of stories, the bittersweet discovery of the whale, and the hard work that went behind the process of securing the carcass, preserving the skeleton, and mounting the exhibition. We raised funds for the Jubilee Whale Fund, which went to the exhibition that opened to the public, and the scientific and education programs that surround it. So this was the state of the sperm whale when it was spotted by a member of the public who gave notice to the museum. It was the first and only record of a sperm whale found in Singapore. Unfortunately, this sperm whale was found dead, floating off Jurong Island on 10th of July 2015. That's the head. So if you look at it, there's a lot of blood on the body and the water around it. There was a very deep cut along her back. We suspect that the propeller of a big ship could have hit this whale and caused the deep cut along the back. Some of you might have come across this in the news, the processing of the whale carcass, which was documented by the media. So why was it such a big thing? Because this is the first time a sperm whale was found in Singapore waters, hence the scientific value of this whale is very significant. This was the museum team that went down to see the state of the whale. After ensuring the whale didn't explode, the staff of the museum started their work in deflashing. So personal protective equipment was in place, such as masks and gloves, and we have a very short video clip to show you the arduous process of deflashing the whale. So this deflashing process was carried out in the heat of July. So the stench of the dead meat was very overpowering, and from the photos, the process was done under the Expo sun. So after all that hard work, the 10.6 meter skeleton of this female sperm whale sits very beautifully in our gallery at the mammal zone. Okay? So I hand the time over now to Cherry, who will go through the next few milestones.
Okay, thank you, Ja. So next, we would like to give a mention to our temporary gallery exhibition. And as the name suggests, these exhibitions will not be permanent, but will change either once or twice a year. So on March 2017, we had our first temporary gallery exhibition, Out of Water. And in December the same year, we had our second exhibition called the Christmas Island Raid. So for the first one, the Out of Water exhibition explore and demystify some well-known folktales of Singapore and the region. And here in this slide, you can see these specimens that dispel some of the myth. So on the left, we have dugongs, and they were also known as sirens of the sea. So in the past, many sailors were in misery because they were out in the sea for many years. And this led to many of them mistaking these pale bodies of dugongs as mermaids or sirens. Furthermore, dugongs in Malay means lady of the sea. So interestingly, dugongs belong to the scientific order of Sirenia, which also include manatees. Okay, so next on the right, you can see the specimen, the crab and the fish specimens in the jar. But what else do you see in these jars? Yes, we can see there are fishing lines, hooks, plastic straws, spoons, and many other marine trash, right? So this is to dispel the myth of marine pollution. So we think that the ocean is able to absorb all the impacts that humanity forces upon it, but that is not the case. So we can observe the consequences of the stress we are placing on the ocean and importantly, the marine animals that live in it. So as seen on the right, these are the specimens that were tangled up by the marine trash. So we also launched our book, Whale Out of Water, that documents our discovery and operation of the Singapore sperm whale. So from the disbelief when the whale was first reported to all the tedious task of processing the 10.6 meters long sperm whale. So this book is also on sale at our museum shop. So the other temporary gallery in 2017 was Christmas Island Raid. So where is Christmas Island? So Christmas Island is an isolated tropical island in the Indian Ocean. And this island is biogeographically unique and famous for one of the great natural wonders of the world, the migrations of millions of Christmas Island red crabs, which is the crab that you see on the slide here. So apart from red crab, there are at least 200 species of animal found only on this island and nowhere else on Earth. And because of this and its rich biodiversity, it attracted many naturalists and researchers from all around the world, including scientists from Singapore. So Christmas Island's connection to Singapore goes a long way back to as early as 1904 with a history of research on Christmas Island fauna such as its crabs and birds. Okay, so these are some of the animals found on Christmas Island, and on the top left, you can see we have our critically endangered Christmas Island frigate bird. So this bird, they only nest at Christmas Island, and during mating, the males will puff up their throat pouches into these red balloons to impress the females. Next, we have the famous red crabs. So as mentioned, at the end of every year, millions of these red crabs will emerge out of their burrows and begin their long march to the coast to breed. At the bottom left, we have the blue crab. So blue crab, they was only recently described as a separate species endemic to the island, which means they can only be found on this island. And the name blue crab is because of the sky blue carapace seen in adult crabs. And lastly, we have the coconut crab. So coconut crab is the largest land-dwelling arthropod in the world. So they feed on fallen fruits, dead animals, exoskeleton of other crabs. And do you want to guess what is one of the fruits they eat? Yes, it is coconut. So they can use their powerful pincer to break open the coconut, and this could possibly explain why they are called the coconut crab. So apart from exhibitions, we also had a series of talks by our curators and museum officers. And we also released a series of these Christmas Island posters, which are on sale at the museum shop. Okay, so I'll pass the time to Chun Wei, who will tell you more about the next milestone.
Okay, so in 2018, LKCN Natural History Museum and St. John Islands National Marine Laboratory embarked on a South Java Deep Sea Expedition, or SJADIS for short. For the expedition, we had a research team comprised of NUS researchers, which included LKCN Natural History Museum staff, as well as colleagues at the Tropical Marine Science Institute, and there were Indonesian scientists as well. This was a collaboration between two countries. So the aim of the expedition was to study the deep sea marine life at this area, which historically has been largely unexplored, but has a lot of potential for interesting or new findings. This was a 14-day expedition that happened in 2018 at the southern coast of West Java, Indonesia. As you can see from this infographic, the dotted line represents the region of survey. So this is another infographic that appeared in Straits Times recently aptly reflects a common thought amongst many of us. Why do deep sea creatures look so weird? Deep sea creatures look very different from us because they adapt to and live in an environment where conditions are very different from terrestrial or shallow water habitats. The conditions in the deep sea environment is very different. Temperatures are low, pressure is extremely high, and it's pitch dark. So a lot of times their appearances are as a result of adapting to this unique set of challenges. Here you can see some photos of the deep sea creatures, we found of which some of them are new to science. This fish on the left is known as fang-tooth, which as the name suggests have wicked fan-like teeth to grab onto prey. Right beside it is a cod-eye squid. It has one eye larger than the other. Here we have some close-up on the giant isopod, which has been in the news quite a lot lately. Our specialist associate, Zaki, is holding a giant isopod of the genus Bathynomus very proudly. That was in 2018 during the expedition, and the photo on the right is the isopod all preserved. It was the first time we knew that these creatures can be found in Indonesian Sea. Giant isopods are deep-sea scavengers that live very close to the seabed at depths of up to 2,500 meters. Giant isopods are crustaceans like crabs and lobsters. Now I'll hand over my time to Chian, who will talk more about the milestones in 2019.
Okay, so moving on to 2019, to commemorate Singapore's bicentennial year, the museum received support from the National Heritage Board to create content for an exhibition which at the end of it was titled 200, A Natural History. So the idea behind the exhibition is to tell 200 stories, be it events, specimens, or objects that bring to life the story of Singapore's natural history over 200 years. So we also documented all these stories by launching a book titled 200, A Natural History, written by my colleagues Martin Loh and Kate Podlington. The ebook version of this can be downloaded via our museum website. The 200, A Natural History exhibition will be extended until the end of this year, and now that we have reopened our gallery since the 16th of July, do take the opportunity to visit our fascinating temporary gallery. So just 2 months later, on 30th August, we launched a statue of British naturalists Alfred Russel Wallace and Ali, his trusted assistant, in front of our museum. So this is crafted by students of the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, and the statue celebrates Wallace and Ali's explorations in the Malay archipelago, of which Singapore is part of. So Senior Minister Teo Chee Hean unveiled the statue with NUS President Professor Tan Eng Chai. So the distinguished guests were then given a tour around our gallery and by the head of our museum, Professor Peter Ng. So they had a look at our new Wallace exhibit, which tracks his travels around the Malay archipelago, as well as our bicentennial exhibition, 200, A Natural History. So before we move on to the quiz, we would like to humbly express gratitude to all of you for your unwavering support over the years. So 2020 has been a challenging period for a lot of us here, but we continue to strive through the challenges and bring everyone the glory and beauty of natural history and Southeast Asian biodiversity amidst the adversity. So this is just the beginning, and we look forward to having your continued support for the many more years to come. So now let's move on to the quiz. Okay, the zoological collections currently held by the museum were housed in which institution in the past? Is it Raffles Library and Museum, Safety Military Institute Library, Singapore Philatelic Museum, or Science Centre Singapore? Okay, yes, so it's actually Raffles Library and Museum. So we have our scoreboard. Okay, the second question. The Singapore Sperm Wheel was discovered off which island? Is it Pulau Tekong, Jurong Island, Sentosa Island, or Pulau Ubin? Okay, so the correct answer is it was discovered off Jurong Island. Okay, the rankings have changed. Okay, the third question. What are the names of the 2 temporary gallery exhibitions we launched in 2017? Okay, the correct answer is Out of Water and Christmas Island Red. Okay, the fourth question. What is the name of the marine expedition that we have embarked on in 2018? Is it South Java Deep Sea Expedition, East Java, West Java, or North Java? Okay, the answer is South Java Deep Sea Expedition. Okay, we are on to our last question. Which 2 people feature in the statue that we unveiled on 30th August 2019? Is it Raffles and Ali, Darwin and Wallace, Wallace and Ali, or Raffles and Wallace? Okay, the correct answer is Wallace and Ali. Okay, so let's take a look at the rankings. Okay, so in third place we have Zixuan. Then in second place we have Samuel. And congrats to Ray. Okay, so the top 5 winners will get a prize and we will contact you shortly after the program. So thank you for participating in our presentation and quiz. Yeah, we hope that you will continue supporting the museum.
Thank you so much, ladies, for the quiz and also the sharing about the museum's milestone. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the talk and also the quiz as well. Okay, a gentle reminder to the lucky draw winners. Remember to collect your prize at our ticketing counter at the end of this month. If you are not able to collect it, do let us know. We will rearrange it. And also for those that won a prize in the quiz from just now on the museum milestone, all you ladies will be in touch with you later. After this, we'll take a short break. Do join us back at 2:55 p.m. for the main highlights of the celebration. Remember, you can use back the same Zoom link and password to join in. See you back at 2:55.